Hello, and welcome to Real Unknown, cinema podcast. I'm your host, Shane, and with me, as always, my co-host, Kyle.
What's up? Nice to talk to you.
Thank you. Today we have the 2000... right off the bat.
Already out the door. I was going to drop a thank you for listening to NPR.
Yeah.
Today we are sponsored by Santita's $2 only chips.
That's what they do in the background, right? Okay.
Yeah, this is a good opening part. Yeah. It really sets the tone.
Sets a good, like, you know,
you should probably explain
we're cool guys.
What this is.
Okay, so essentially,
what we're talking about.
This is a podcast that I've been wanting to do for a while, of just talking about movies, but mostly movies that are lesser known. Someone would say unknown, but
really? Are they real unknown, or
they're pretty unknown. I don't know real. That's going a little far, but essentially, it's just talking about movies that are not super mainstream and wrecking them and talking about why they're good. Usually why they're good. We might do some bad ones later. Matt wants to do a bad one if we ever get him on.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Explicit tag on this.
But today we are starting out with Shane Black's The Nice Guys from 2006, directed by Shane Black and written by Shane Black.
Really,
and
that long ago?
2006? Fuck. Okay, you're right. Not that long ago.
I was like, there's no way that movie came out in 2006.
This is off to a great start. 2016.
There
The Nice Guys came out in 2016. And I'm real great. Directed by Shane Black and written by Shane Black and Anthony Bagarozzi.
Hey.
A real Italian gentleman.
Yeah. And
yeah, essentially, we're going to start out with a little more known-ish films. Like, Nice Guys tanked at the box office, which we'll talk about, but it's developed kind of a cult status. And eventually once we kind of get a hang of this, we're going to go into, like, the real deep cuts.
The real unknowns.
The real unknowns.
There's a squeaky chair. It's our third guest.
Yes, the squeaky chair guest is the third guest.
I try and keep it to a minimum, but...
No, he can have his input. Jeez, don't need to silence him. What are you?
He's black.
We're doing great.
You can cut that if you want.
No, we're keeping this all in. This is just one long play.
For reference,
yes.
Because you can't see it.
We're not just racist. I mean, we are white men,
we should probably start talking about that fucking movie.
No, we need to vamp. We're trying to hit
3
this.
minutes, dude. That's good.
We gotta get this video over 10 minutes so we can get that ad revenue.
Double the ads.
Double the ads.
Just fill the last 4 minutes with blank space. Anyway.
Okay, so The Nice Guys is a film that came out in 2016, and
we'll just start here.
I was gonna. No, I was going to read what a lot of the production crew did, but all my notes have been deleted. Apparently, I swear to God, I'm gonna find these like right after we stop recording. But the one I did want to point out is that the soundtrack, especially the soundtrack, is very, very fire. But the music also is pretty good because it was written by two people. One, David Buckley, who has been known for a lot of things, but he's been the composer on The Town. And the one thing mainly he did is he did a lot of, he's worked with Bryan Singer a lot. He's done almost all of Bryan Singer's films from Usual Suspects onward. I think outside of X-Men, it looks like he's pretty much done everything he's done. Also, I realized I just fucked up because that was the other guy. John Ottoman is the right. This is a fucking mess, dude.
Oh my god, dude.
John Ottoman is the guy who's worked with Bryan Singer. He's done the composer on X-Men's Days of Futures Past, X2, Usual Suspects, Superman Returns, and both the Fantastic Four movies, and many others. And then David Buckley has done music on The Town, but more importantly, he's done the music on Arkham Knight. So...
He did the music for that game?
Yes, he did.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I'm going to stop trying to actually talk about people who worked on this, because this isn't going to be any form of professional film podcast. We're not actually even going to really be talking about the aspects of film and filmmaking, but more so just dicking around. What are we, like 5 minutes in already? Doing great.
Yeah, you know.
Doing great.
Minutes.
6.
Good.
Good. Okay. So The Nice Guys. So I guess we should probably talk about the story, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
General plot synopsis
Yes.
in case you haven't seen it.
Yeah, spoilers, by the way. Spoiler alert for The Nice Guys.
All
do
these
timestamps.
movies are gonna have spoilers.
Yeah, this is fucking... We're just gonna talk... Preface for the series is any movie that has a podcast, you should watch it and then listen to the podcast. This is like an after show of watching these films we recommend you. But you're not gonna do that, or Matt, you've already seen them. So, you know, it's fine. But get ready to be spoiled a lot. We start off with Sweet Temptations, Papa Was a Rolling Stone, hitting that off. And then we get some sweet... okay, we get...
Wow.
This is pretty... It's
pretty impressive to watch you trying to remember anything that happened in this movie.
I like this movie, too. Okay, so, Jack Ely and Ryan Gosling are both private eyes. And they... Well, actually, no. Russell Crowe isn't a private eye, but Ryan Gosling is. And they're both kind of just doing their own thing, just heading out. And they both get involved with this girl, Amelia, and they come to blows. Russell Crowe beats up Ryan Gosling and breaks his arm. But then Russell Crowe gets attacked by Keith David. And then you know shit's on.
I forgot Keith David was in that movie.
No, he's great. He's one of the best parts.
That's awesome.
And then essentially what it's, they find the girl, and she made a porn that is fingering this, not fingering literally, but like pointing at this auto car manufacturing that they have a smog detector. It's a Shane Black movie. It's really convoluted. It's, you know, it's funny. It's fun. It ends at a party, and Ryan Gosling and Keith David jump off a building and land in a pool, and one of them survives. The other one's Keith David.
Yeah, but I mean, basic plot overview: two kind of shady guys come together to help this girl who's getting chased, and she's gonna get killed.
Though they don't really help her that much, because she still gets killed.
To help her.
Yeah.
And she is trying to publish a movie that would expose a connection between the Department of Justice and the automotive industry, and how they're like kind of working together to make sure that the automobile companies don't get in trouble.
Yes.
And nothing can take down Detroit.
Nothing can take down Detroit.
So that's a good thing to keep in mind.
Yes. So I guess right off the bat, I would like to rant about. This is probably the only movie that has Ryan Gosling in it where I like him specifically. There are movies that I like that have Ryan Gosling in them. We're probably going to talk about a couple. We're probably going to talk about Drive in the upcoming weeks, because that's one I can just murder too, because people like that movie enough. But this film specifically, he's actually acting in it, which is something you don't really see with Ryan Gosling these days. Because to timestamp this episode a little bit, if everything goes according to plan, if this ever gets released, this will be coming out at the beginning of 2018. But Blade Runner 2049 just came out, and he looks exactly like he does in every other movie, of just this fucking emotionless fucking just boring fucking guy. Like, that's him in La La Land, that's him in Drive, that's him in most movies he's in. But this film is just a complete 180 of that. And I remember, especially at the time when I saw it when it came out, I actually almost changed my opinion on Ryan Gosling. And I actually thought he's like a good actor because he's shown that he can be funny in this movie. He's really funny. He's probably the best part. And he's really lifelike and hilarious and actually emotes and does all of that. But then a movie called La La Land came out and
Crushed all your dreams.
crushed all my dreams of ever liking Ryan Gosling in a film.
You just want to play some jazz, dude.
He did just want to play some jazz. And,
You like jazz?
you like jazz? We will be talking about B-movie, don't worry.
What if, sorry, a little bit off topic, but what
No,
if
go
La
for it.
La Land, what if the main character had been Seinfeld playing Barry B. Benson?
Thought you were going to go a very different direction,
No.
but that would be amazing.
And it's kind of the plot of B-movie. The girl falls in love with him, blah,
Yeah.
blah. But it's just about him playing jazz.
Just jazz.
And the only thing he says to her is, "You like jazz?"
You like jazz?
Anyway, back to the movie.
No, let's keep going with this idea. I like this. So, who would it be Renee Zellweger as Emma Watson, or would it be Emma Watson as Renee Zellweger?
Yes.
Okay. And they come together, but she's still about acting. She's still about acting, right?
No, the whole movie is the same. It's just that instead of Ryan Gosling, there's an animated bee voiced by Jerry Seinfeld, and he also only says you like jazz.
We could make this edit,
It
and
would
should.
probably still make sense.
I mean, I'm sure, because he has like 4 lines in the goddamn movie. So,
He talks about how jazz is
it's about the past,
Yeah,
man.
dude.
It's about raw.
Gotta bring jazz back, dude.
Gotta bring
Make jazz
jazz
great again. La La Land is literally make jazz great again.
You're not wrong. And there we go, the first hot take. That was the hot take alert.
Are you okay?
Take so hot you'll choke on them.
Take so high, I just watched someone almost die in front of me.
I just died in your arms
Okay,
tonight.
we should probably get back to the movie we were supposed to talk about.
This is all we have. Okay, nice guys. Yes. Well, all my notes are gone, so I'm just completely have no idea what to.
Talk about the movie. There's Ryan Gosling's in it.
Yes.
And he plays an alcoholic.
He does, and he's funny, and it's a funny.
He's a private eye, and he doesn't really care about anything except money.
Yep.
And he's sad
Yep.
because sad stuff happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
He drinks a lot,
Mhm.
and he doesn't really pay attention to his daughter.
He's essentially like the.
He's like a background stepdad character, but he's the main character. Like,
Yeah.
like you'd expect the movie to be about his daughter or about someone his daughter knows, and he's just like a background character, but instead he's one of the main characters.
Yeah. No, that's fair. He, I think I like that character because I feel like a lot in today. It's a trope that you see a lot of, like, the goofy, silly guy who is also, like, super depressed and suicidal. And, like, you see that a lot now. But I feel like most things focus too much on the depressed and suicidalness of them. Not gonna name any BoJack Horseman.
But mostly, he's just a goofy dude who gets really drunk all the time.
Yeah, and it's funny. And it's genuinely funny. And it's fun. And it doesn't get too serious or anything. And it, if anything, just skipping straight to the end, the movie has kind of this almost sort of bleak, could be read as sort of this bleak nihilism to it, where it's just nothing really happens, nothing they do gets accomplished or really comes into fruition, and then Russell Crowe, who's been a recovering alcoholic, just goes back to drinking, and you can see that as really dark, but at the same time then it takes that and turns it into more of like an uplifting of two kind of very lonely people kind of coming together and making a team. And you see that theme a lot in Shane Black movies, at least when he writes them, about like very kind of loser, lonely people kind of actually coming together and actually doing something good.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is that Ryan Gosling's character doesn't really change during this movie.
Yeah.
It kind of goes the other direction. You expect him to, but instead, like...
He changes a little bit in the sense that, like, he doesn't get super drunk at the end.
Right.
But even still, he's still just a goof.
Yeah.
And he still, like, almost fucks it all up. And it's sort of, it's more it's more about the relationship between the characters and the characters themselves.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he learns to care more about the case than the money.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't even work out for him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I feel like you see, just to kind of highlight, there are a lot of Shane Black is kind of have a following of writing of Lethal Weapon and Iron Man 3 and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and such. And we'll talk about some of his other films later on the podcast, probably more at the end of the year, because they're all Christmas movies mostly. But a couple other themes you see in a lot of his work is you see usually there's a kid character who is always there, and this one I would say probably has the best example of a kid character because she is hilarious. Angry Rice, am I saying that right? Angry, is that how you say that first name?
Angry, yeah, probably.
Yeah. Angry Rice gets third billing also, which is deserved.
Yeah, I mean, she's one of the main.
Yeah, well, but usually child actors just get thrown down the line. But she, I think, because you see kids all the way up back into Lethal Weapon, you see kids in some form or another. Because with Shane Black especially, they kind of represent innocence, and you really see this in this. And you see they kind of, as sort of a juxtaposition of like the crazy, fucked up, alcoholic people of the main characters, as kind of showing that there is still kind of like good in the world, I guess. But usually they kind of come across as a little sappy. I kind of actually usually think that's always kind of a problem with Shane Black films, is the kids, it kind of feels like the trope of like the Spritle and Chim Chim. And they even do a joke on that in this movie, but then he just puts her back in the trunk. Which is great, but I think she is actually like funny and feels like a character, and is really. I am kind of still waiting for it, but I remember after seeing this movie, I was like, man, I really hope this actress goes somewhere. And she's been in more things, like has been successful, but she's in Spider-Man: Homecoming, she's in the Beguiled, but she's still not quite Nice Guys. Nice Guys is definitely like her biggest film, and hopefully she'll get better chances as time goes on. But who knows?
I was trying to think about like character arcs in the movie.
Yeah.
And like the biggest thing I could say is like Russell Crowe's character becomes a dad.
Yeah, kind of.
She just gets two dads at the end of the movie,
dads,
basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I guess his character arc is he goes back to drinking, but also doesn't murder a guy.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
granted, I mean, I know the kid's supposed to represent innocence, but like that guy tried to kill you, dude, and your friend. Like,
yeah,
I think
I don't know why he did it, but.
But then again, she multiple times after trying to be murdered by people is like, no, help him.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's part of her thing.
Yeah, we can talk about the murder in this film and how there's some pretty brutal scenes.
Yeah. People get got.
People get pretty got. Had you seen any trailers for this movie? Okay, because one of my problems, and I've gotten over this, but one of my problems with the movie initially is that the Red Band trailer essentially shows like all of the money shots.
Oh.
Of like, it shows the guy getting hit by the truck. It shows Keith David falling off the building. It shows all of that. So just watching your reaction to all of them was definitely pretty fun. Because it definitely pulls a Cloud Atlas in the Keith David. You just see him splatting against the ground.
Seeing that in theaters, seeing that scene in Cloud Atlas.
Yeah.
And there was like the audience was visibly like, what?
Oh shit!
I thought that was a really fantastic way to film that movie.
Yeah.
But not relevant. I mean,
no, it's
barely
fine.
relevant. To
we'll talk about Cloud Atlas someday.
I thought it was interesting that there's a lot of moments in the movie where they're set up as action heroes, and they never are. Like, they're not superhuman.
No.
They aren't really good at shooting guns or anything.
No. If anything, the entire movie, they are just... Russell Crowe is doing okay. Like, he can kind of take care of himself, but just barely. But mostly, almost always, they get out of it almost for chance, or, like, they barely survive.
Ryan Gosling's invincible.
I do love that line.
It's fucking great.
I think I'm invincible. No, I don't think I can die. It's the only thing that makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a moment in the movie where they land a shot with a gun.
No, probably. No, that's mostly just almost it's always just kind of firing into and then tucking cover and then firing some more. I think it's actually very good you say action hero, and I think it's a good way to do an action hero of not exactly having them be invincible and not having them be just like good at everything and just beating up everyone all the time. Yeah. But instead of actually having...
I mean, the best example of that is they go up the elevator to the penthouse, and all those people are getting murdered, and they just go back down. They're like, we can't fucking do anything about that.
We're like, better get out of here. That's a great scene. I think you kind of also... It has a good balance of them bitching at each other, but also getting along, which I think is hard in buddy cop movies because you sometimes go one way or another. Or you sometimes go, like, they hate each other in the first 20 minutes and then suddenly they're pals. But I think this one especially kind of, like, they're very much just in it for the money, and there are multiple times when, like, Ryan Gosling just tries to get out of it. But he's also in it for the money, so he just keeps going. It almost at times just feels like they're moonlighting of just being like, just do this, and then whatever, I guess go over here. And then they get into a gunfight. And you pointed out the scene in when Ryan Gosling, when Keith David and Russell Crowe fight, and he shoots the gun through the hot tub. That wouldn't actually work.
Right.
Which is true. I think it's so funny because I love the scene where he punches the glass.
Yeah.
And he just bleeds out.
Yeah, the movie has a really interesting back and forth with being imaginary and reality. And there's a lot of stuff that's like super real. Like he punches glass and just really fucks up his hand.
Yeah.
But then there's other shit like shooting a gun through a hot tub or falling off a roof
and landing in a pool.
Flopping in a pool and coming out fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like kind of...
You know. I mean, he sees Nixon.
Yeah, he does see Nixon. That's true.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. It's definitely a pretty good buddy cop movie.
Yeah.
Hopefully Thor Ragnarok will be as...
I'm excited for Thor Ragnarok. Also, it does go back and forth because it does subvert a lot of cliches. And I think that's what a lot of people talk about. When you do see someone like praising the nice guys are talking about, it's like, it subverts all these cliches. Like, it's all everything wrong with action movies. Nice Guys is the answer to,
It's John Wick 2.
But the thing about Shane Black is he does it comedically. Unlike in like something like John Wick, where he does it more like smartly, I guess. It's more like, no, realistically, if he punched the glass, his fucking hand would get cut to shit.
Yeah, right. It's all jokey. Where John Wick's about counting bullets.
Yeah, and like actually just killing people,
winning in disadvantageous fights, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because this movie is more about the comedy than the action. Right?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Shane Black, and I noticed this is he's not a super like stylistically. It's there, like the 70s and all that, but stylistically, he's not, outside of kind of a noir aesthetic, you can't really tell, his movies aren't like super visually unique, but, or even like the action or how he shoots it, but what usually is unique is, Shane Black actually as a director works really well with actors, and I think because he is able to bring out performances, especially in these two, of like really kind of top-notch performances, and you see that also in like Kiss Kiss, where you got Val Kilmer and Robert Downey Jr. Really playing, especially when they were both at like the lowest of their careers, and really coming back. Shane Black is one of those directors you don't see that much more because most directors are much more about the shot and the oeuvre and all that and jerking themselves off into the camera, but like Shane Black, I think, cares a lot more. And he's getting Shane Black to talk, you can hear Shane Black talk about his writing a lot, but he's very kind of humble when he talks about his directing. So he doesn't really talk a lot about his style or anything, but you can kind of tell he really is more focused on how, like, working with actors and working with kind of how they kind of say the lines and stuff. And I think for someone who is so dialogue focused, that makes a lot of sense, that would be really one of his strengths.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a movie. People die.
It is a movie. Yeah.
There's that friend of the daughter.
Oh yeah, she's fun.
Who's in it and she just fucks around. I don't know what.
She gets thrown through a window.
Yeah. What happens to her after that? Is she dead? What happens?
You see her and she's like fine. You like.
Oh, okay.
Even though realistically she'd probably have a bunch of cuts on her face and like an eye gorged out. But no, she survives. They don't kill a lot of kids in this movie, unfortunately. I would say this film is a little problematic in its portrayal of women. Overall, there really isn't any positive portrayals of women outside of the daughter. And pretty much all women outside of the daughter are either sex workers, except for one other one who's the villain. And so that is a little problematic. But Shane Black kind of is hit and miss with female representation. And also just, like, Keith David's kind of the only minority in the film. So it's kind of, he's hit and miss with that. But then like, Shane Black also wrote Long Kiss Goodnight, which is Gina Davis and Samuel L. Jackson, and it's awesome. So, like, he comes and goes. Like, so I don't know. It doesn't ruin the movie for me, but it is kind of a little problematic.
I think it just is a non-concern. Yeah, it's less. It feels like no one thought about it, as opposed to it's like a conscious decision. It just feels like in this situation, it's no one thought about the implications of the movie's actors outside of just the movie acting.
Yeah.
Right. So subconscious.
And you can see that
ideas about who should be acting in it.
I think like there's no reason that either Ryan Gosling or Russell Crowe need to be white. Like they could easily be any other. They could be black, they could be Latino, they could be Asian, they could be anything. I mean, in the 70s, they might be getting a little more shit, but realistically, they could just be anything. And that is a casting thing. I think with the women, it is a little more intentional, because when you hear Shane Black talk about this movie, he kind of does talk about how, like, sort of the corruption of L.A., and kind of showing that through the porn industry, which is fine, but it is still kind of hitting a cliche that a lot of movies hit, of just all women are sex workers. And most of them get murdered. So I don't know, but it's still good. It's just something I just kind of noticed.
The movie, it actually is kind of similar to L.A. Noire.
Yes, I was going to bring this up.
I mean, there's some stuff that's like less symbolic and just like reminiscent of a scene, like two cops search. Well, they're not cops, but two dudes searching through a burnt down house. That's part of a conspiracy. Is very reminiscent of the end of L.A. Noire, but just kind of like the two guys trying to beat a big conspiracy against all odds. Very reminiscent of, especially the end of L.A. Noire.
Yeah.
It's not like they have a lot in similar, but it just there's stuff in the movie that definitely reminds me of.
Well, I think that's because both L.A. Noire and this are doing very much a lot of homages to like classic like pulp novels and like detective stories and stuff, and like all like the Raymond Chandler and like Maltese Falcon and all that stuff. They're very much, both of those things are taking that from that. And another thing that also does a lot of homage to pulp is the film L.A. Confidential from like the 1990s. And I have a theory about L.A. Confidential in relation to this film, which I will tell you now, is that in L.A. Confidential, Russell Crowe is in that movie, and he plays a cop who beats up a lot of people. And in this movie, Russell Crowe plays a guy who beats up a lot of people. And they're both like really cynical and kind of like grouchy, and they're pretty similar. And I like to think that they're the same character, and this takes place in the same universe, because realistically, both dates of the films and dates of the releases kind of match up. Of like, L.A. Noire takes place in the 50s and came out in the 90s. This came out in the 2010s, and this takes place in the 70s. So like 20-year gaps. So realistically, Russell Crowe his character would be around this age. And there's small like continuity stuff that each of those films don't exactly match up, but I like to think that this is like a secret sequel to L.A. Noire, L.A. Confidential, which is also a good movie. We might talk about it here. I don't know, maybe not. I'm really hoping Movies with Mikey eventually does an episode on it, because he's talked about how it's one of his favorite movies, but everyone's just gonna keep voting for fucking shitty
Mulan.
Yeah, Disney movies instead, and like fucking hell. So got anything to add?
I don't know. I'm thinking it through, but I don't think there's much else to add. It's an entertaining movie.
It is entertaining. It's fun. It's a good time. It's a fun time.
But I sit there at the end of the movie. I question why. Why did I do this?
Yeah.
Why have I done this with my life?
Yes, but I think you do that with most things.
That's true.
But now, here we go. Now is the part of the show where I will bring up IMDb reviews and read them. And but these aren't like the glowing reviews or the positive reviews. Oh no, these are the worst IMDb reviews. We should probably have a title for this segment. I don't know what it's called. But right now it's going to be called Try to Opening This Box of Brownie Bites.
I'll put a little jingle in.
Yeah. The jingle is me trying to crinkle this.
It's the Safeway jingle. Does Safeway have a jingle?
It's Safeway. Come this way if you want to get a BJ.
I know their
From
slogan.
a homeless man.
I know their slogan, but I don't think they have a song or anything.
What's their slogan?
Ingredients for life.
Oh, you're right. That is it. Jesus Christ. Do you have, like, scissors in here or something? No?
I can go get some, though.
Nah, sure. Why not? Or you're stronger than me, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm the strongest. Did you like my reference?
I did. Thank you. There you go.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe the strongest will be popular by the time this comes out. So, like, you can just pimp this.
I wish, dude.
Okay.
To be honest, I just want money.
Yeah, you're in it for the money. Like, let's be real.
I'd like to quote a song by one of my favorite bands, 21 Pilots.
Yes.
Wake up, you need to make money. And that really speaks to me.
That speaks to me, too.
Can we do a little sidebar real quick?
Yes.
Before we do this?
Literally anything to fill time.
It's a thing about 21 Pilots.
Mm-hmm.
I only know one 21 Pilots, and it's Stressed Out.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people don't like that song
Mm-hmm.
because it's overplayed, blah blah blah, whatever. I don't listen to the radio that much, so that's probably the reason why. But I only heard that song like twice, maybe.
Uh-huh.
I really enjoy that song.
Yeah?
I think it's really good for like a top 40 pop song.
Okay.
And I think it gets a lot of shit, but it's a pretty good song. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay, well, you heard it here first, kids. Stressed Out by 21 Pilots, 8 out of 10.
Now, I know that makes me sound extremely white.
But he is, so it's fine.
It's fine. I don't know any Chainsmokers songs, so it's okay.
There you go.
I get this one. It's my free pass.
But you don't know Heathens, then? By 21 Pilots?
I
All my
recognize
friends are
it. I
heathens,
recognize
take it
the meme.
slow.
I recognize the meme.
Something,
I've never heard that
ask
song
me
in my
as
life.
you know.
I've never heard that song.
Please don't make
Stop.
any
Can we just move on to the fucking questions?
Are you telling me you've never seen Suicide Squad?
No, I have not, unfortunately. I've seen the stickers on Facebook, though, so it's pretty much the same thing.
It's better than the movie. Easily.
It's lit.
It is very lit. Okay, so here we go. IMDb reviews. This one's from Lavatach, published September 20th, 2016. He gives it a raving 1 out of 10. And he hits it with this very insightful, yet pretty nuanced description, just right out of the title. Stupid, stupid, stupid. The Nice Guys has pretensions to be a slapstick-style film like Naked Gun. Unfortunately, it fell flat with its convoluted plot, weak laugh lines, and poor chemistry among the actors. Films like Naked Gun or Airport can be great fun, as they build factual scenes around star actors playing inept cops, pilots, criminals. But Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling failed to meet this threshold by performing... Threshold's a good song. The script of Nice Guys was explored. The filmmakers, whatever. Moving on. What do you think about that?
Did that say airport?
Airplane.
Okay, it said airplane, not...
Did it say airport? I probably just said that wrong.
Because airport is
No,
a
it does
movie.
say airport. Wait, what is it?
It's a
I'm
movie
assuming...
from the 70s. It has kind of shitty ratings.
I'm assuming it mean...
assuming they mean Airplane too,
Yeah.
because this is a 70s drama movie.
Mm-hmm. I think Airport is actually the movie that Airplane parodises.
It's very possible. Don't
I'm
call
not
me
100%.
Shirley, dude. Get it? Haha. Am I just a funny fucking guy?
You are.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of good points.
Yeah, I would say though this film doesn't try to be like Naked Gun, but there are similarities between kind of subverting cliches. But I'd say Naked Gun takes it to even more in a comedy extreme, to the point where it's cartoonish. Whereas The Nice Guys tries to play it realistic.
Naked Gun movie?
3.5 or
33 and a half.
33 and a
33 and a third. Sorry.
Yeah, there
we go. Have you? I'm sure you haven't, but there's an AVGN video called the Angry Video Game Nerd is like confused about sequels or something.
Yes.
And he's just talking about all these stupid movie sequels.
But
one of them's like, I love Naked Gun, and then Naked Gun 2.5 came out, and I couldn't ever find 2. And then there was 33 and a third. There were 33 of these movies. I can't find any of the ones 3 through 32. It must be pretty good because they kept going for so long. It's pretty fresh. There was something else I was going to say that was unrelated, but I've forgotten it.
I made points of like copy and pasting the notes of like the really good ones, but now I have to look through. Okay, here we go.
I think you eating while saying them is really going to come across really well on the...
This is a fucking mess, but it's fine. The Nice Guys equals... Oh, this is from Avid Movie Viewer.
I just remember what I was going to say.
Okay, no, go for it. Don't forget.
It's so fucking unrelated. But...
This one is from Avid_movie_viewer. The Nice Guys equals disjointed hot mess. The Nice Guys is one of the worst movies that I have ever watched. I know, that's you must be watching some...
Leprechaun in the Hood, or... That's a great movie, to be honest.
No, it is. It was a bunch of unconnected nonsense. It was not funny at all. A 13-year-old girl is leading the, quote, PIs, unquote. Give us a break. If the daughter had been 21, then maybe. But not 13 years old. And in the 70s, a 13-year-old girl would have been a fresh meat at a Hollywood Hills porn party. That's...
Okay, you're not wrong.
That is accurate, which is... They didn't go... You could give Nice Guys for not going into the darkness of the 70s in that sense.
Shady shit going down.
Like I said...
Some David Bowie shit going down.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a good... I think it's a Vice article about the Runaways, the band, and how... I mean, they were essentially just... Their appeal was being jailbait. Check that out. It's really fucked up and not great, but...
Vice is like the only news source left, weirdly.
Yeah.
But they also just publish articles about fucking anything.
Yeah, they really...
So the thing I remembered...
Yes.
It had to do with IMDb reviews.
Uh-huh.
I want you to see both seasons of the Gunslinger Girl anime.
Yes.
Because there's a definite difference in quality between the first season and the second season. And I'd love you to go look at the IMDb reviews where people are like, the second season is so much better than the first one.
Sure.
Nothing has ever made me madder than someone going, the first one's just lacking in every way compared to the second one.
Yeah.
And you look at fucking side-by-side screenshots, it's like, one of these has art. The other one was drawn by a high school senior. It's like fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, there's my obligatory obscure anime plug. For the episode.
Not gonna watch your fucking perv anime, Kyle. Jeez.
Why are you always eating these fucking brownies while you talk, dude? Just talk. You don't need to eat the fucking brownies. Okay. You've had like 40 of them in the last 2 minutes.
I'll put them down. I'll stop. We're eating pop brownies, by the way, just so you guys know. Because we are both weed gods.
I'm a weed overlord, actually.
The most nonsensical storyline was the DOJ's chief daughter made quote, porn, unquote, movie and inserted it into a promotional film to be played at a car show. Are you kidding me? Okay, that's a thing that happened in the movie. The only part of the movie that made sense was when Amelia was shot. Yes, something believable happened. I mean, you know, I don't think that's the only part.
I just hate women.
Yeah. Even with all the action movie, I kept waiting for something important to happen. I mean, I think a lot of important things happen because it kind of progresses the plot, but alright, guy. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. I'm just mostly going to bring up the highlights. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I think any film that very early on has a naked porn star sets it all straight out. It was still prepared to give a chance. The main performances are good. Promise laughs. Well, though the TNA came thick and fast, which makes it sound more sexual than the movie ever did.
There's like one naked woman in the whole thing.
There's a lot of, I wouldn't say insert shots, but kind of like establishing shots of women, like during like the party and stuff, like the topless mermaids. I think is semi-unnecessary, and again, you could call that kind of out for exploitation, but but the woman at the beginning, that is kind of necessary. Also, any movie that has a porn star named after The Hobbit is a pretty fire meme.
Dude, all movies with nudity in them, they are bad. Like Cloud Atlas.
Yeah.
When she's naked, it's a bad movie.
It's a bad movie. Having a 13-year-old girl be subjected to a free screening of porn and discussing about anal, it felt very wrong, and ultimately we were not entertained.
Who are these fucking family values IMDb users?
Yeah, I think... Okay, because I have...
Newsflash.
Yes.
13-year-olds already watch porn.
But I think I have a story about... I saw this movie on a boat once.
Thanks, MC. I spent my first 2 years watching The Nice Guys on a boat.
Just over and over again. I saw this movie on a boat once. It was a boat trip to Mexico. I watched this on Christmas Day, and I was in Mexico. It was a terrible cruise. But
what a fucking life you lead.
This is the most interesting thing that's happened to me in a year. But I was watching it, but it was also this really horrible, like, compressed version, because it was in, like, fucking, not letterbox, but, like, the
it's
fucking...
Like 4x3.
Yeah, 4x3 fucking screen. So it was ugly as fuck, but... Still, I hated my life, so I was watching it. But there was a family sitting next to me of, like, this probably middle-aged married couple. And the scene where the kid talks about how he has a big dick. And
oh my god, that scene's amazing. I forgot about that kid until right now.
That kid's great. They stood up and left. So I can definitely see how, I mean, I can't really say this otherwise than, like, older people would kind of just be like for Shane Black, for someone who's in his 50s, he definitely... I'm surprised this movie wasn't bigger with, like, a teen audience and stuff. Like, you would think with a lot of, like, the kind of soft, like, lowbrow humor, like, this would...
It's got a very, like, Animal House vibe to some of the comedy.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess maybe is more of a homage to, like, the 70s stuff. But, no, that is a good way of putting it. And, I mean, like I said before, this film bombed hard. Let's see if I'm going to try and pull up the actual money, how much money it made. But...
I always find it really interesting how offended people get by, like, sex jokes and stuff in films. And just in life.
Mm-hmm.
People are very, very private about that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting to me because I feel like the longer I live, the less I care.
Yeah.
And the more I'm like, whatever, I just talk about it whenever, you know, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't bother me. And so I think, I wonder if there's a turning point for people, or if it's just like kind of a
generational
cultural, generational difference. Way too philosophical for a conversation about a kid who has a big dick.
No, it's perfect. But that is a good question, because you wonder, like, if they were younger, would they find this funny, or would they always just...
Or had they always
been like,
yeah.
Child watching porn? Well, I never... but there's a lot of reviews that, like, have a problem with the girl, the daughter, like, saying rim job and stuff. But it and stuff, and...
That's funny.
Thank you. I think it's fine. I think it's... I honestly don't think this movie... I think some of the lines are pretty out there, but I don't think this movie is too, like, super over the top with, like, sex jokes and stuff. And, like, even outside of, like, maybe some unnecessary shots of, like, topless women, there isn't a super lot of nudity.
Hey, here's a question for you.
Yes.
Why is this movie less acceptable than Game of Thrones? A show which depicts
That's a
rape
very
on
good question.
occasions.
Yeah. It really shouldn't be.
It isn't.
Yeah.
People just find it more acceptable because HBO made Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It's just the context of how it was produced.
Mm-hmm.
It's hypocritical to suggest that the nudity in this movie is any better or worse than Game of Thrones.
Yeah. And even, like...
Except no one gets raped in this movie.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
More than you could say for Game of Thrones, dude. It's just period sitting, guys.
Yeah, it's just realistic. Well, also, too, just talking about HBO, there's a show right now called The Deuce, which I don't know if that's the intentional title, but about the porn industry in the 70s. And I'm sure, from what I've seen from looking on just the r/celebrity and not safe for work subreddit, there is already a lot of obsessive nudity in that show. But I'm sure that argument is, well, it's about the porn industry, so it's okay. But this movie is about the porn industry, and it probably very barely compared to The Deuce like shows any nudity.
Well, it's weird because so many people are complaining about this 13-year-old thing, and it didn't even cross my mind that it was weird.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it's got to be because these people are really concerned. There's something about that makes them extremely uncomfortable to think about a 13-year-old girl involved in anything sexual. Something about that makes them uncomfortable to the point they have to vigorously deny it.
Yeah, but also I think too, I mean, it's not even like she's talking about wanting to do anal. It's just she's talking about these things, and like that's how 13-year-olds talk.
Yeah.
Like the movie It just came out, and also I think it's a double standard, because I bet if this character was a guy and it was like a 13-year-old boy, that'd be
Everyone
perfectly
would be like,
fine.
yeah, that's just what boys are like.
Yeah, because It just came out, and they have like a bunch of jokes about like, I don't know, anal specifically. They probably don't go as hard, but like they have a lot of like sex jokes and stuff in that. And the kid from Stranger Things talks about his dick a lot, which is kind of weird, but you know, whatever.
I got a big dick.
What can I say? I got a big dick.
That guy is so fucking funny.
I'll show it to you. We don't want to see your dick. $20? we just gave you $20. What am I saying? It is a double standard, because probably if it was a guy, it wouldn't be a problem for people. But no, there are multiple IMDb reviews that talk about that. But I just want to talk about the money for a second. It had estimated budget of about $50 million, which it's mid-budget. It's not a lot, but that's kind of mid-budget. Mm-hmm. And in its opening weekend, it made $11 million.
God, that is Blade Runner 2049 numbers, dude. That's bad.
That's a 1/5 of the budget. And I think in its total gross, now this is where it gets really good, is $36 million.
So they dropped it after like 2 weeks in theaters. They're like, nah.
I was lucky enough to see this pretty late in its run, because I kept putting it off. I don't know why. I think I was just busy or something. Like, I didn't see it right when it came out, even though I was really excited. But yeah, no, this... Usually you can at least make more than 3 times the budget in your total run. But no, this doesn't even make its full budget back. Like, this is quite literally a bomb. And I don't think there's ever going to be a sequel. But also, I don't really know if I would want to see a sequel. Like, I feel like...
What would it be about?
Well, I feel like, and we talked about this before, I feel like the point of a buddy cop movie, when you do a sequel to that, what do? Because now they're already friends. Mm-hmm. So you can't do they're not getting along, but then they get together again thing. But then you can't do something different, because then...
Because the life has to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a big problem with a lot of sequels, is that they just recreate the first movie exactly. And it's like, that's not how a human relationship works.
Yeah.
These people aren't going to suddenly not know each other again and then relearn who the other person is. It really... A lot of times, a sequel just has to be a completely different movie if it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Unless it's specifically written in a trilogy format.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if I could see this being good, but there is a potential for a possible television spinoff. Mm. But here's the kick.
Dude, like Aladdin.
Wait, what?
Aladdin had a TV show.
Oh, the Aladdin animated series. I thought you meant like a live-action TV show. I was like, wait a minute, what? No, here's why. But it's going to be terrible, though. I'll tell you why. Because it's a female reboot. It's going to be
4 female Ghostbusters? The feminists are taking over.
It's going to be the nice girls, and it's going to be a TV. I don't know if it's going to be on cable or not. I hope it's cable, because it'd be kind of weird to do this show on like just primetime. Because I don't really know what you could do. You'd really have to water it down. But then again, there's like a Lethal Weapon show on Fox, and like I doubt that has any of the swearing or gore of Lethal Weapon. So, so that's the plan. I'm excited personally. I think if it's on cable, I think it could be really funny. Like, I think they have the potential to, like, this as a series of like a procedural, but then like in the movies, you're doing like a bunch of cliches of procedurals, but then spinning them on their head. I think it could be really fun. And I think you could focus a lot more on dialogue rather than action. And I think, hopefully, it'll be really good. But we'll see about that one. Anything to add to that? No? Okay.
Not really. I'm fucking...
But I don't really think this needs a sequel. And also, I don't really think this needs... I think the end... We're at 55 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I'm reading that. Okay. So we did it. We reached our...
goal of rambling for an hour.
I don't know if we will ever release this or do it again or keep going. I don't know. It's probably fine. I'm probably too much in my own head.
Just cut out the parts where we sit there and say for 5 seconds.
That's the. It feels like you're there, man.
No. It lasts way longer when you're listening to it than it does when you're looking at it.
No, I know.
It lasted a long time when I was sitting here.
Okay, I just want to see if I can find any final reviews, because I remember one of the other ones that people. Here we go.
This is our last review to top it all off.
This is my first review of a movie ever. I feel like it's my duty to warn people of this nonsense, incoherent, IQ lowering, complete utter dog shit of a movie.
Is that your IQ or your age? Huh.
I'm not even exaggerating. It is that, and that is capitalized, bad. I went in with great expectations as the sky high
I love
reviews.
Charles Dickens. Man, I'm really getting on the improv train right now. It took an hour of warming up, but this is how
We're in it. We're doing it. The Sky High Reviews presented the movie as one of 2016's finest. Oh man, was I wrong to trust these reviews. After a half hour in, the amount of cringe was unbearable, but I was determined to finish it. It had to get better, right? Oh man, was I wrong once again. He really keeps...
This movie was cringeworthy.
It really was. I gave up after an hour. I felt like the movie drained me of all my will to live. I was on the edge of depression. Dude, just jump off that edge. Just take a nice deep dive into depression. Swim out past the breakers and watch the world die. And I had to take a deep breath to prevent myself from crying. Sounds like you have like some other mental problems you need to work out that aren't from a comedy movie. But I never bail out halfway through a movie. This was the first time, and I don't feel guilty. I should have turned it off an hour earlier. Mark my words. This is a complete waste of time. Sitting in a tree for a week straight is more... What? Beneficial than watching this.
Alright.
Because you'll die because you don't eat or drink? After an hour, I had no idea. WTF. Now, we're not going to say fuck. We're going to keep it classy. We're not going to stoop to this movie's level. We'll say shit, and we'll say dog shit a couple times. But let's keep it PG-13, guys. Like, let's not... Werewolves, not swearwolves. You get one fuck. A WTF, Gary, the plot was, and it did not interest me in the slightest to find out. People say this is convoluted, and I can see how it's kind of like, it goes really all over the place, like one thing to the next, but I don't think it was really hard to follow, do you?
No, it's not hard to follow.
Yeah.
It's just, your perspective on what the answer is keeps changing.
Yeah, but I think that's some of the fun, because I personally hate mysteries where, like, I mean, I like mysteries where I kind of can solve it and I feel like I'm solving it, but I hate mysteries where it's like, this is going to happen and this is going to happen.
I mean, the mystery in the movie is that someone's lying.
Yeah.
And it's just like...
Who's lying?
Who's lying?
Yeah.
And eventually you're like, I guess that was the one that was lying, you know?
She's trying to kill us now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think that is kind of, I mean, it's a pretty basic premise, but I guess to quote Bob's Burgers, see, a lie can be a twist. So it's good. I think that's really more the mystery, because I like a mystery that keeps me guessing. I like a mystery that kind of, I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. That was one thing I really liked from the original film when I watched it, is that I didn't know. I was like, where's it going to go? What's this? What's that? Let's finish off this corker of a review. Rock Bottom. Crow's performance. How many zeros is that? 1,000,000 out 0.0000000 out of 10. So it's just 0.
So it's still 0.
Because that's how zeros work. But he decided to add a bunch of extra zeros. Unless
he that 0 really small.
Unless he essentially meant to say 10 million out of 10, but then like he forgot the 1, so it's just a bunch of 0. Like he could have even gone like negative 1,000,000 out of 10 or something, but no, just a bunch of zeros. And also he only does colon for the first 0, not even the right play. Whatever. Halfway wannabe, witty, / badass, but it comes off as tired, uninteresting, fat ass. What?
That's just rude.
Uninterested fat ass with a complete absence of charm. One just wishes that scenes would be over. For a movie to be this long really makes you want to cram your ears and eyes full of dirt. Doesn't deserve 1 star. Do not watch Cancer on Screen.
I don't understand why he's so mad.
I don't understand why he's so mad either, especially...
I've never seen a movie that's done that to me.
Yeah. Well, I've gotten close, but I've seen some pretty terrible movies.
I've seen the first 10 seconds of a documentary called Are All Men Pedophiles?
Yes.
In which
I'm going to make you watch the rest of that film someday.
In which the thesis posed
and just watch your head explode.
me is that all men are pedophiles because all men are interested in women 13 to 18. And that was their premise for why all men were pedophiles. Because they're attracted to women who have gone through puberty. Therefore, they are people who are attracted to women who have not gone through puberty. And that was the premise of the movie. That was how it opened. I'm like, I'm good. I'm just gonna not watch this, because I feel like I got baited. It was the movie equivalent of To Catch a Predator. I was like, I want to watch this movie and see what I have to say. And fucking Chris Hansen walked out. He's like, let me get you a plate of cookies.
Why don't you take a seat?
Yeah. What a fucking mess that was.
Yeah.
That's the only movie I think I've ever done that. Maybe Dino King, dude. Dino King will fuck you up.
Dino King? What's that?
It's a South Korean animated adventure.
Keep going. I'm listening.
That's all I can tell you, because it might have stolen my memory, to be honest. Yeah, I've never had such a visceral reaction to a movie. It's really hard for me to tell if I'm an emotionless robot or if people are using hyperbole, and I'm assuming the answer's both.
Uh-huh.
Because, like, I can't imagine a movie making you feel that way. I can't imagine anything making me feel that way, except just, like, watching someone get stabbed repeatedly in slow motion.
I can agree. I've seen movies, or TV especially, that, like, make me get really angry and riled up. But...
Oh, I get angry react only, for sure.
This guy just doesn't really describe what's bad about the film. I'm assuming just I don't know. I guess he's just really not a big fan of, like... It probably was like, swearing, gross, or something. Keep it PG-13, guys. But I rarely walk out of a film. I think I've only walked out of a film in a movie theater once, and that was when I saw The Hunger Games. But it wasn't because I got offended. It was because I was waiting for another movie to start, so I went to watch the trailers for The Hunger Games. And then The Hunger Games came on, and at first I was like, okay, this is kind of, sure, I might check this out. And then it's the scene at the very beginning. I don't know if you've seen The Hunger Games.
Yes,
but it's the scene at the very beginning where it's J. Law and her sister. And she's tucking her sister into bed, about to go down on her. And and then...
Oh, like Wincest, am I right?
And then the sister's like, oh, Katniss, I'm scared. And then there's like a beat. And in my head I was like, if she starts singing, I'm walking out of this theater. And then she started singing... So I stood up, walked out, and I went to see Battleship.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
No, but I don't regret it. Battleship is terrible, but...
I fell asleep about 3 times during the second Hunger Games movie.
I saw the second Hunger Games movie. It was...
People love that movie. It puts me to sleep. And
It's
I've
really
read all
boring.
the books. I've read all the books, and they are consistently downhill.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Doesn't it get, like, really Snowpiercer in, like, the third book?
It's a mess. I don't know. That none of the characters make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to talk about it because it's just not worth it.
Sure, that's fair. But yeah, I don't know, I've been mad at things, but I can't really see why this, of all things, would evoke. I guess it is kind of like... I don't know, I don't really think of this film as edgy, but I guess for someone who has kind of very basic...
Scooby-Doo taste.
Yeah. Like, they can see this as like,
Jinkies.
whoa, Jinkies! Zoink, Scoob!
Lucky for you, I'm a dog lover.
Lucky for you, I'm a dog lover.
And then Daphne will fuck the fish. Lucky for you, I'm a fish lover. Alright, well, we've really gotten off track now.
I wanna... Oh yeah, here we go. I think this guy points out something that I think all of these people who've disliked it. I think IMDb should have an age profile to show which age groups liked or disliked this movie. Age, 50 to 65. We walked out about halfway through. And I think it's weird, though. Because I have another anecdote about when I saw this movie. Because, yeah, when I saw it the first time, I get why, yeah, I guess Because we've just been saying, like, oh, maybe older people don't really like it. Maybe that's like, they really are kind of get offended easily. When I saw this movie when it came out, there was pretty much empty. With some people in the back. It was me, I sat in the middle, and, like, kind of next to me was this very old woman. Like, pretty old. And just by herself, too. She just walked, hobbled in on her little walker, sat down in her seat, and decided to watch a movie. And me and her were the only two people in the audience who laughed. Like, consistently, we were laughing through the movie. We were eating it up. That's and awesome. Everyone else behind us was just like, nothing. They just weren't. But the two of us were fucking having a fucking blast. And even at the end, when it ended, she turned to me and she's like, I don't know why this isn't making any money. It's really good.
That's an awesome old lady.
So, I mean, she's probably dead now. But if not, old lady, you were pretty cool. That was fun. So, I don't know. Like, she thought it was cool. So, maybe is she cool? Or is it like a very specific generational thing?
Yeah,
or is it just baby boomers? Are they just... Or what's after baby boomers? Gen Xers? Is it just the Gen Xers who are just like...
I don't know, show it to my dad.
Sure, see what he says.
We somehow rambled for another 10 or 15 minutes after we were like, let's stop. So
I don't know. I mean, like, this is kind of what I wanted the podcast to be like anyway. Just rambling.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's going to happen.
If anything, I feel like we had too much structure.
Yeah.
And I think besides our pauses, and I'll have to listen back to this, but I think maybe tune in next week
and we'll crunch more chips into the microphone and talk about
some
stupid movie.
Let's crunch. Let's sign
end
off
on a crunch.
Nice crunch. Let's go. Wait. So you can find us at Real Unknown on Twitter and Facebook, and you can listen on SoundCloud and YouTube and maybe iTunes. I don't know.
Put it on iTunes. I don't know how to get shit on iTunes.
And follow us on Twitter at can I pimp your Twitter?
My Twitter?
I don't know. Okay.
My personal Twitter? There's no strongest Twitter or anything.
Okay.
I never used my own Twitter.
And also find us if you want more sweet content. Two of us talking. Find us at The Strongest on YouTube. That's a strong
with a parentheses, 9 parentheses, obviously.
Yeah. All right. All right, guys. See you next week. It's been real.
Love and happiness. But wait a minute, something's going wrong. Someone's on the phone, 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, talking about how she can make it right. Yeah, happiness is when you really feel good about somebody. There's nothing wrong being in love with someone. Yeah. Oh, baby, love and happiness. Love and happiness. Love and happiness.